Hello everyone, this is Kimberly and welcome back to Fables. In this video, I will tell you about my unintentionally but intentionally created deck that I didn't plan to create but just came out of me anyways. So that seems to be happening a lot lately. Actually, not a lot. The only other deck that kind of just came out of me as like a creative vomit was my sparkly Lenormand deck. I actually created this deck when I was stressing out with spread machine cards and Oracle production. It's called the Spread Crafters Oracle now. And then to like let out some steam, I was just doodling sparkly Lenormand with no expectations and no intention of turning it into the deck. I was just kind of using the format of Lenormand to kind of just create doodles and then I kind of finished it and I was like, well, since I'm printing Spread Crafters, I will print this deck as well. That deck kind of ended up just happening. And this new deck that I'm working on, which is done, that I'm sending off to production soon, is called Align Heart Affirmations Oracle. And it was so random. Like I did not think of planning, like I wasn't planning to create a deck like that. I didn't plan to create a deck like that, and it just happened. So sometimes your creative journey, if you choose to follow the impulse and the inklings and your inspiration and the divine calling on you to step up and become a portal for your experience and your wisdom and your magic and your light to come through, you kind of just have to go along with it and just enjoy the ride as it happens. That's the beauty of being a creator slash creatrix. Sometimes your inspiration takes you to strange and wonderful places. And this was the case of Align Heart Affirmations Oracle. I don't have the actual deck yet because it's not been printed. I am sort of in the process of getting a sample deck started. So I'll have like the physical product soon, which will not be the final product because it's a sample deck, and I included a bunch of testing holographic foil overlays on it. So it's kind of like it's gonna look like a clusterfuck, but it's a sample deck. So, and I'm paying a lot for it. I practically sold my kidney for that sample deck. It's so expensive. So obviously I'm gonna get the bang on my buck by testing everything that I can with that sample deck. But anyway, that is not the point. I actually want to tell you more about this deck, what prompted it, what got me started creating it, and also as I journeyed along with this deck, what are some of the intentions I want to bring into the deck. And that's kind of like the magical part about being a creator. Sometimes you have an idea and you have really clear and powerful intentions from the start. Like you know what is going to go in this deck. There are also projects and decks and ideas that kind of like start as an inkling and you kind of discover it and explore it and sort of sculpt it out as you go along. Like it's kind of like planting a seed without knowing what a seed is and what it's going to grow into, versus being more like an architect and having this vision in your head and trying to create that, pull that from the ether. So it's kind of like two different processes and I enjoy both. I don't know why I'm getting winded. I've been working out so much and doing so much cardio. Anyway, getting epically distracted here. So let me share with you some stuff about the deck. First of all, how this deck got started. It kind of started with full moon in Cancer back in like January or February, and then I felt inspired to write some affirmations and post/share on my Instagram page. It was very heartfelt affirmations, very truly just from the heart. They were words that I written for myself in order to center and align and also just have a strong sense of resonance and seenness within me. So that's kind of like how I wrote those affirmations. So someone wrote in the comments telling me how intuitive these affirmations were, and wouldn't it be nice to have a deck of affirmations like this? And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. So I kind of started toying with the idea of having an affirmations deck. I took one of the affirmations and I was sort of creating backgrounds, the watercolor patterns, you know, playing with the look and the design and the layout of the deck, not knowing what it was going to be yet. And I remember sharing some images of that on my story to get people's response. And then one thing after another, I had the idea of like, you know what? I really want a pink deck. And I also really want that has just like very minimalistic pastel colored backgrounds, and then just with text and maybe some decorations. So it's going to be very minimalistic in design. And I just want like a brick, like a deck brick, just stacks of cards that looks like a rainbow brick. It's going to have like different sedimentary pastel layers as the cards are stacked together. It's all going to be pastels. Actually, you won't be able to see from the edges because I want to put holographic silver edges on it. But it's just going to be like very colorful, but very minimalistic. So I had the vision to create something like that because I really wanted pink cards and I just really wanted a minimalist looking deck. I was like, hey, I really want that for myself. So I kind of started creating it, just toying with different color palettes and toying with different pastels. You know, I didn't make conscious decisions in the beginning. It wasn't like, okay, so this deck is gonna look like this, and it's gonna have like these elements, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approaching it like an architect, sort of like how I did way of the Panda Tarot and also Spirit Crafters. I think Spirit Crafters was definitely very more kind of like articulated design versus Way of the Panda. There was like some exploring as well. It's kind of like, even with like architecting a deck, you also go through a project like that with room for expansion and room for pivoting and changes, because you just don't know where you're going to end up sometimes. You just have to let your creation take you on a ride. Anyway, yeah, I started toying with the idea of like this affirmations deck, and at first I was like, you know, I wasn't going to print it or anything, but I started playing with the design, and then as I went down that rabbit hole, I was like, I guess I could just make a deck for myself and then just print it as a one-off deck or something. And then I started collecting affirmations that I wrote for myself just throughout my dark night of the soul. From my journals, from my scripting planner, and just from anywhere I was writing down stuff. So I was collecting affirmations, and then I was like, I think this could be a deck. Like this could really make an impact. I could really pour my heart and the wisdom that I've cultivated into this deck. And as I continue to create this deck, and as I continue to hone in on the affirmations, it keeps changing. It's like after I was like, okay, these affirmations are done. These words are done. I'm not changing them anymore. I put them on the design and the layout, and I ended up rewriting a lot of them. So it just kept evolving and morphing. As I got more intimate with the deck, I discovered that this is a deck that's going to be like a love letter to anyone who is highly empathic, deeply feeling, and also maybe a highly sensitive person. Maybe you even identify as a people pleaser. I certainly did. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm much better now. Much more like fiercely and unapologetically honest about what I want, what I desire. But yeah, so I was like, this is gonna be like all the words that I wrote for myself during my dark night of the soul. And this is just all the love that I've learned to cultivate within myself. And they're gonna be reflected, transcended into the deck and into the words of the deck, and it's gonna be a love letter to anyone who is feeling unseen and feeling unloved and struggling to love themselves and struggling to take up space. So that's kind of how this deck got started, and it was sort of like this curious endeavor, that a rabbit hole that I went down to, and just ended up finding wonderland. As I was creating this deck, I was like, you know what, words and literature and writing affirmations is actually something I really do enjoy. I really do enjoy and believe in the power of words, and also just writing down your intentions, channeling your focus and what you want out of life, and also just finding the vibration of that truth within using words. I just think that's so powerful, and I think this is something that I want to continue to do. And when I came up with the deck title, Align Heart, I was like, this could be a series. As with anything, when I created Spirit Crafters, I was like, this is gonna be a series. I know this is gonna be a series. I can create so many expansion packs down the road with this, and it's just gonna be this massive and mega series. And when it's Align Heart affirmations, I could be like, this is already a series in my mind. I can do Align Heart, I can do Align Dreams, I can do Align Stars, I can do Align Joy or something like that. I'm just like, this can be endless. Like, this is a creative portal where infinite creations can come through. And I was like super thrilled with the idea. When I create something, I don't want it to just, usually it depends on the creation. Usually I don't want it to be one-off. Like, everything I create is a portal to my heart. It's a portal to my genius. And I don't mean genius in a cocky way. I mean genius as like kind of like your creative essence, you know, your unique creative essence. So you will have your genius. It's your unique magical expression of the self. So that's the genius. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like I'm like such a genius, but I'm speaking of genius as in like that's your highest sort of creative essence. That's the portal in which cosmic magic comes through you, right? So that's what I mean by genius. Everyone, we all have it. We can all tap into our genius. So that's what I mean. I'm not trying to say like I'm such a genius or whatever. Everything I create is a portal to my genius. Everything is an expression of myself. It's sort of like almost like a memorabilia or relic of the spiritual and personal growth development journey that I've gone through. If you look at the decks that I've created, Way of the Panda was really me accepting my adorable, introverted, and lighthearted, playful self It's everything that I come to see within myself, everything that I come to treasure within me that is sort of represented by pandas. So it has like a lot of inner child energy, a lot of playfulness, a lot of like tenderness and adorableness and love. Spirit Crafter is sort of like my more brainy and like nerdy side, where I like to construct things and put things in order and organize the system. I also really do love innovating. You know, I don't want to just create something that's the same or it's just following the system. I always want to be creating something new. I really do love innovating. And yeah, I love designing new things. I love coming up with new ideas. I think being a decorator has really taught me to see myself like as an innovator and really discovering that this is something that I really enjoy. I love to create something different. I don't ever want to create something that's the same. I don't want to ever create something that's already out there. Of course, that is a goal of every creator, but I just want to like come up with new systems, come up with new perspectives to look at things, come up with new frameworks, because you know, if I can't find something that speaks to me, then I'm just gonna make something up for myself and share it with the world. But that's more on me as a creator in general, not just a decorator. But I do love innovating. For example, like Spirit Crafters, I love creating something new. I remember when I was researching for Spirit Crafters, there was already a Spirit Crafting deck out there, and I was really salty. I was like, oh, I'm not the first one, but that's okay. It just, all that salt just motivated me to do even better, just to like put even more of a unique stamp on whatever it is that I create. And I just kind of elevated what I thought I was going to create to this even more epic thing. And that was like completely worth it. So, you know, I'm an Aries / fire sign, so I'm really petty and competitive, and I use that generally as fuel for my creative motivation and ambition and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like, yeah, just a bit about me being a decorator and also my creative impulses, and also how I started creating and also finished this random Oracle Affirmations deck that I am now going to print a sample deck for, and I'm also going to fund on Kickstarter. Originally, I was going to announce the date for this deck. You know, it's gonna come out on Kickstarter on May 4th, and there's no way I'm making that date, so don't put that on your calendar. It's not coming out on that date, but it's definitely coming out sometime in May, so just letting you know if you're interested. Originally, I wanted to put it on May 4th because I wanted to say like, May the 4th be with you, and so I could like be a total geek about it. Clearly that is not done, so do not put that on your calendar. I kind of feel like I maybe jinxed your psychology. Maybe you're going to be like, oh my god, it's totally coming out on that day now since I mentioned a date, even though I told you to not remember it. Anyway, so it's coming out in May. And I'm experimenting with a lot of new things with this deck, playing with different printing and paper technologies. So I'm really excited. I'm finally gonna toy with some foil. I'm gonna print this deck with gorgeous silver holographic foil, and also like holographic foil edges. I'm also gonna try printing it with transparent holographic foil on the card front to make it even more gorgeous. It's gonna look like a deck that sparkles. It's gonna be in a magnetic clasp box, and maybe a guidebook. I don't know yet. I don't know what to put in a guidebook. Maybe a few spreads, maybe a few sort of musings and prose, but right now, as we speak, it doesn't have a guidebook. But I think that could be a stretch goal. You know, if like I hit certain funding goals, I might include like a mini guidebook or like a digital ebook or like a spreads book or some kind of workbook or whatever. You know how much I love creating workbooks and just guidebooks in general. Like, guidebooks are kind of like the best part. I do love writing. Maybe I should just like stop using writing guidebooks as an excuse to write a book. I should just write a book. Speaking of books, I have a book practically almost finished, and I was gonna publish that like last year, but I got caught up with other things, such as going through an ego death. I wrote a book about tarot, about studying tarot. It's kind of like an expansion of this ebook I already put out like years ago, and it's pretty much done. I just need to like finish it. I think I have 2 chapters left or something. I just need to finish it and do the book layout, and maybe even hire someone to do it and just be done with it and put it out there, right? But you know, it's on the timeline. It's on the timeline, guys. Yeah, I guess this is not really about my deck. You know, a Lionheart Affirmations Oracle. I think it's more like a creative update and also just behind the scenes in my creator's brain. Yeah, and also I'm making this video totally on the fly because I promised myself that I will upload one video every single week, because before I would think that I need to have this grand plan and have everything planned out, all the videos planned out. I need to do it on a certain time, but I really just need to start developing the habit of posting every week, at least every week. And this week I was originally going to talk about something else and I have no plans whatsoever. And I need to post this video literally tomorrow, which is the day you're seeing this. And like I'm just gonna go. I just need to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it just has to be done. I just need to lay down the tracks of, you know, give myself the foundation, and just I need to build the habit, and just I need to kind of incorporate it into my routine. I need to start making space for it. So that's my goal. Like yeah, that's my goal. Is to just, I don't have to do things perfectly, but I need to start making space and holding space for the thing that I want to get done, or I want to eventually achieve. So this is an amazing step, an amazing thing I'm doing, you know, no matter how busy I am, no matter how procrastinated, delayed I am, and I'm going to do the video. Like I was going to do this video on Wednesday, but that totally did not happen because I was burned out, so I decided to take a day off. And then on Thursday, I was going to work on concept sketches, but then I got delayed and I procrastinated again. So anyway, here we are. I'm filming this video for you and also for myself, you know, to share with you. And yeah, I wonder if I should just call this like a creator's vlog or creatrix. I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like a creatrix because, you know, like a creative goddess energy, but I'm not too attached to like gender. I still identify as female, but I just feel like sometimes when we use like really feminine archetype, like words like goddess or creatrix, I can't really fully step into that feminine archetype. I can see myself in it, but I'm like a little not as feminine as I'd rather just like be a panda or something genderless, or something that could be both genders. Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I think that's it. Yeah, so I just wanted to pop in to let you know that I created a deck completely unintentionally, and also finished it completely unintentionally. People make fun of me for this, not like actually making fun of me, but kind of like teasing as a way to show support. They're just like, wait, Kim, so you were busy and burning out making a deck, so you de-stress by creating another deck? Like, what? This was the case when I was doing spread crafters, because spread crafters was so brainy and so more mechanistic. It was much more about organization. It was very textual. It was about the system and the rules of that system, and I needed to do something that's intuitive and brainless, so I started just doodling sparkly Lenormand. So it was like two completely different creative process, and I think different parts of my brain were firing. And this is actually the thing, guys. It's like if you're burned out by one task, you need to do something that's like that uses a different track of your mind. This is called like active resting, actually. This is why like when you're stuck with website work and then you need to doodle, or you need to like go sing and dance or do something else that's completely different, and that recharges the other part of your brain. I think a lot of surprises happen in life. A lot of things sort of unfold miraculously without you planning, but that's usually the best part about life and creative journey in general. So I'm really happy that I followed that impulse and ended up creating and finishing something and getting to share all of that with you. So that's gonna be awesome. And alright, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more adventures and misadventures of me journeying into the depths of my fantastical innerscapes and discovering and finding and creating myself. And also more like creator contents, just creative behind the scenes and all that. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have any questions about anything I'm creating, or if you're just curious or you want to chat, leave a comment down below, and until next time, bye!